Real Housewives of Potomac. So we're gonna talk about it and get into it from this past week's episode. So it starts out with Karen, of course, and they're at the Grand Dame's house, and they show all you hear is noise. Karen moaning, Karen saying, "Ooh, ah, oh my goodness," and of course everybody they want you to think her and Ray getting busy. No, we ain't think that. We just thought that she was making a lot of noise, moving something. Anyway, but then they show her in the basement and her trainer's down there. She's doing push-ups and sit-ups. Then they pan over to Ray. Ray comes down there. I heard some noise, and it's like, okay. And then she's finished. Oh, I keep yawning. I'm sorry. I'm not a morning person, and it is like 9:05. And then they go. Karen and Ray go. The trainer leaves, and Karen and Ray go upstairs, and they're in the kitchen, and Karen's just like, "I'm doing all this for you, baby." What you doing, Karen? What you doing? Like, anyway. And then she goes, you can't say these three words, can you? And he's like, okay. Like, he don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, you really can't say these three words. And he's like, okay, okay, okay. She goes, forget it. And then it pans over to her confessional, and she's just like, we've been together for a long time. See picture. And 23 years is a long time. And then she's like, he just can't say the three words like, I love you. And I'm like, I need more context. Because you can't tell. Now, wait, perfect example. Because I know they have a big age gap or whatever. But I've been with my husband, married this October-ish, November. One of the months. I think it's October. Maybe November. The point is, we've been married 20 years this year, together 23. We don't say I love you every day, but we say it enough for you to, like, so where is the problem? Is he not saying it at all? Is he not saying it enough? Did something else happen? I need more context. And they just throw a little piece in there like, he can't say I love you. Ray is 79 years old, I'm guessing. But something else is going on, and we're going to wait, because it make no sense. Then they go to Monique and Giselle, meet up. They're going to have lunch. And I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all don't get along. But I think Giselle finally realizes you can't get Monique. Monique ain't here for it. Monique will drag you. Monique will read you. Monique will come for you at your neck. So Giselle is finally conceding and going to be like, you know what? Let me just get along, because I'm not going to win this battle like you did with Candace and everybody else. So, they're talking about, Monique's confessional. She's like, yeah, I'm surprised we're here together too. And she's just like, Giselle's always happy when she get a little penis in her life, which is true. Because when she had Sherman, she ain't had no problems with nobody. Now she got Pastor Jamal. She ain't got no problems with nobody. So Monique is like, yeah, she's getting that anointed penis. I was like, well, hello. Then they talk about having a party for Ashley to get her out the house, because Ashley has been going through postpartum depression. I get it. I didn't have postpartum depression. I think I was the opposite. I think it was like, okay, I got a baby. I take care of him. You want to get out the house. You want to just like be gone. But Ashley is the opposite. And I think she's just paranoid because it took a while for her to get pregnant. So I think that is her concern. And then Giselle is like, oh, how did you think the party went? I found it interesting that Sharice was there. I didn't even know what's the girl? Candace and Sharice were friends. She's like, me either. And then Monique is like, well, I don't understand why she didn't tell me. She knows what's going on. I don't gotta tell you who coming to my party. Whether you get along or don't get along. That party was in a big enough space where you saw her, you moved to the other side. I don't have to tell you who's coming to my party if you get along or don't get along. Maybe they got closer than they have been from the reunion, but I don't got to tell you nothing. Especially if we're not besties like that. Like now, if my best friends I know don't get along with somebody over here, and they ask me who's coming to the party or whatever the case is, my friends are grown enough to say, like, see the person and keep moving and talk to who you talk to. it don't have to be a problem. But y'all too grown for that. I'm sorry, y'all too grown for that. Um, but the rumor is, because I found out, is that Sharice has been going around Potomac or wherever it is saying that Monique was seen out with her trainer and being too close for comfort, and Chris found out and it was a problem. So that is the big issue. And I'm like, what does Sharice have to gain other than being in the mix and trying to get status and trying to get back on the show because she's getting a little broke because now she's on the show 3 times, and I'm like, Sharice, you really did what you had to do just to be back on the show and get some money. So because I don't understand why she would even say that, and whatever. But moving on. Then it goes over to Baby Dean and Ashley, and she's with her lactation specialist, who she has come over once a month. I don't know what the problem is. I did not breastfeed. It hurt, one, and I had humongous boobs after I had before and I had them after. And it was like, I was like, no, I can't see my son's face, so I don't feel like he's gonna be able to breathe. So, but they tell you you in hospital for like a day, maybe 2, depending on what you had done and yada yada yada. You got to have this woman come over to your house once a month to show you how to breastfeed. You ain't got it in the first 30 days. Like, I get it. The first month, you maybe want to have her come a couple times. Make sure you're doing it right if you have any questions. But every month, for 3 months, but moving on. I mean, I guess because I don't have a need. I don't know. I'm not going. Good for you, Ashley, for doing the right thing. Good for you for getting a lactation specialist. That sound better? Because it made no sense to me, but it makes sense to her situation, so be it. Then her mom comes over and she's like, Ashley, I'll watch the baby anytime you want me to. Just get out the house and have a good time. And she's like, oh, I don't want to leave him. And, whatever. I get anxious. I get nervous. And they say it's normal. They say it's natural. And she's like, yeah, I know. I'm just scared. And yada, yada, yada. So it pans over again to Candace and Wendy go out because we're going to keep getting introduced to Wendy until we're comfortable with Wendy Osefo. Picture. Then they go to lunch and they saying, Candace like, oh, I love Wendy. Wendy is a professor at Johns Hopkins. She has her PhD. She's married. She has 3 kids. And her last child is a girl, and she's 2 months old. And they talk about Candace and her, Candace is like, I want to have kids, but I don't want to have kids. I'm still in therapy. And I'm going to say, this is a personal moment. I get it. When you don't feel you were parented the right way by your mom or maybe by your dad, you feel, can I do it? Will I mess up like my mother messed up, or my father messed up? And I have that situation with my mom. We don't get along. We never got along. We never had that relationship. So when I was pregnant, I'm like, I have to do everything different. I cannot do anything like her because I don't want my son to feel how I felt. Granted, a boy and a girl is 2 different things, 2 different animals, 2 different worlds. I swear, all I have is a boy, so I don't know about girl life. But I went above and beyond, and he's my only. So I'm like, you get nervous. And then as you're parenting and you say something or you do something, you're like, oh my gosh, my mom did that. Let me stop. I got to do it again. You second guess yourself a lot. So as my son is 18 now, so as I parented him growing up, I was sure to be at everything he had. Make sure he knew, that I cared about him and I loved him. I made sure I was in his face all the time. We went together everywhere. Come on, Tonto, let's go. And me and Tonto rode out. I call him Tonto because he was always on my hip like a horse, okay? I didn't care. My mom didn't want me to go with her anywhere. So I made sure that life he would never experience. So I feel Candace's pain, and I feel, what she was going through and how it makes you think, can I be a mother? So I feel her. I hope she gets through this. I hope she knows she can reverse it. She can change it. It will not be the same because you know what you didn't like, and you will always try to do the opposite. Um, and then Wendy is like, people can't read me because class is always in session with me, basically telling Candace, like, these girls can't come for me. I can read and do what I got to do. So then Karen and Candace get together. Candace, you had food with everybody so far. 3 people, really? But whatever. I don't know the days. I don't know the time frames. And she's just like, yeah, I invited Ashley. And she's like, I'm surprised and confused that I got invited to Ashley's coming out party, basically, coming out the house. And then it goes to, who is this? Monique calls Ashley and reminds her, like, I want to be sure you're still ready. You're still going to come. And she goes, can I bring baby Dean? She's like, girl, like, no. And then you see Ashley, like, oh, and hugging him and not even paying attention to Monique because she's so engulfed in this baby. And then she goes, I invited Candace and I'm looking forward to an apology. I'm like, here we go. Just have lunch, be cordial, and just try to move on and baby steps into and segue a conversation at some point, but it doesn't have to be a direct, like, make it known we're going to make you guys work. Stop. Do it gradually. Then Giselle and Juan meet up, and Giselle's like, does Robin know we here? Girl, please. Like, if my friend's husband was to call me and be like, can we go to lunch? Yeah, why? What's up? That's the next question. You ain't gonna just call me and I'm gonna just meet up and we gonna have lunch and I don't know why. No. I assume why, what's up is next, or is everything okay? But Giselle, she's just so fake and phony. But we're gonna move on. Juan wants to finally agree to get married to Robin, and he's getting Giselle's opinion on the type of ring. They've been together 24 years. So Giselle's like, Robin's pretty simple. Get her 24 stones, which is fine. That's fine. And it was a nice thing. And then they talk about, Giselle and her ex-husband, now boyfriend. And she's like, yeah, the girls are a little concerned he might hurt me. And she's like, because they haven't known him to be in my life since they were babies. So it's different for them. I'm like, girl, that's not even it. They see something you don't see, and you don't see it as a problem. But, and the girls are old enough. They're not babies. So they see something and they're telling you, and you still missing the mark like you did with that whole house. But move on, Lenny. Stop. Don't do that. Candace and Chris is in the kitchen, and she goes, I just peed on the stick, but I'm not. When she said I peed on the stick, he was like, he didn't look happy. He looked nervous. And she was like, oh, but I'm not pregnant. And he's like, well, we haven't been having sex anyway. Chris said he's ready to have a baby. He keeps telling her, he said, it's you I'm waiting for. And she's just saying, I don't know if I can be a mother if I wasn't mothered. Again, I get it. I wasn't mothered. There are a lot of things I think I should have known or should know, and I don't know because I wasn't taught growing up. So I had to look it up and ask my friends. We didn't have YouTube University to find out different things in life that girls should know. But I get it, Candace. I'm sorry. I pray that, because even though if you have a relationship with your mother now, Candace, it doesn't change what happened earlier, and it changes your perception on everything. So, hopefully she can get pregnant, but they use condoms, and everybody's surprised about that. But who cares? But Chris is like, I only have sex with you in the morning because at nighttime you got to take off your lashes and your makeup and your hair. And morning time is basically the best time for him. Then they all meet up at the restaurant for Ashley's welcome back into life kind of thing. And everybody's there except for Wendy and Candace because they come late, which I'm sure production had it set up or they didn't tell them. Because Candace is never usually late. It's Robin that's always late, and Robin was there. So they start talking and everything, and then they have to, Ashley and Candace give a cordial hug. Hey, how are you? Give a hug, and they sit down. And they're like, oh, girl, look at that. Don't acknowledge it. It's like, why say and speak what is already seen and done. They had a hug. Okay, that's nice. Maybe they can move on. But they gotta acknowledge it. There's a knife at the table. There's no this. Stop. Y'all too grown. Y'all are too grown. And then Ashley starts talking about she has to have surgery in her butt because she has a tear in her anus. And I'm like, ooh, girl. Excuse me. And they're like, what? Oh, don't talk about that at the table. I had stitches and it's not fun. She was like, I guess she tore. She didn't say that, but I guess she tore. And it went from the rooter to the tutor. And I had 21 stitches and it is painful. When you have to do number 2, you are nervous as all hell because you don't want to either tear the stitches or make it even worse. I get it, girl. I'm sorry. She got to get Botox and surgery. Woo! And then she says she's going to have a sip and see. They get all excited. And they ask about Ashley didn't come to Candace's anniversary party. So she says, how was the party? And Monique is like, oh, it was a great party. I had to dodge warthogs. And Candace is like, oh. Apparently, Ashley allegedly didn't know. But then Candace is like, I didn't know you had such a big problem. And Monique is like, everybody knew I had a big problem. And again, I'm still sticking to what I said. It don't matter. If y'all can't be grown effing women and not speak to somebody at a party because you don't speak to them because of what they said and did and mentioned, it will never make sense to me. I'm sorry. It won't never make sense. Like, I don't get what the hubbub is. Like, I don't know. Because like, if I was to come to your party, I know you. I don't know everybody else. So I come in and I speak to people as a cordial person, or I don't speak at all because I don't know them. What's the difference? I'm sorry. Let me stop talking because I get so upset when it's something so stupid and common sense is so not common and it irritates every piece of my soul because I'm a logical and a common sense person. But we're going to move on. And then they talk about Candace not having a honeymoon. And Monique is like, you should have had a honeymoon instead of having that party. They bother Candace about, her using condoms. And she's just like, is this a bashing Candace thing? Because everybody's talking to me and coming at me. What is the problem? And they talk about Giselle's fornicating with the pastor. I said, all right, Giselle, you listen. Y'all not having sex because y'all go together. Listen, everybody needs a little something too. And they asked Giselle, what do you do, Giselle? And she's like, I mind my business, which means, yes, I'm having sex with him. So what? Mind your business. Then, of course, messy Giselle talking about, okay, so we're going to have a set the stage and we want Candace and Ashley to apologize to each other. And Ashley's like, Candace is like, we're not going to do this here. We're going to do it in a private setting and we're going to move on. We don't have to do it in front of an audience. And Ashley's like, yeah, well, I want to basically do it. And basically, you do it in front of an audience on Twitter. And I'm like, here we go. She just said she wants to apologize to you, but in a different setting. Shut up. Move on. Next conversation. Then it goes to the next scenes and we're going to see. But thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe.